Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ridiculously Serious, a new show where we draft teams from absolutely ridiculous categories and have a completely serious debate about them. There will be laughs, there might be tears, but most importantly, Joe's team will lose. My name is Mike, and I'll be your host for this show, but you'll be hearing plenty from me, so first I'd like to introduce you to my co-hosts. First up, we have Joe. Tell the people what you want them to know.
My name's Joe. I am into skating, comic books, Magic the Gathering, and all sorts of other stuff. And apparently I'm a born loser.
Well, from that description, you kind of brought that one on yourself there, really.
Yeah.
I was going to make a cool in high school joke, but I kind of figured you took care of that one for me.
I wasn't really cool in high school either. So
that is a shocking reveal to start this podcast. We also have the wonderful Brandy. What's your story?
Hi, my name is Brandy. I'm also a natural born loser. I enjoy board games, D&D, video games, and occasionally I cosplay. So,
as you guys can tell, we are the coolest podcast around. Just absolutely
solid.
We're basically people who peaked in high school is essentially the vibe that we're going for here. So, all right. So now that we've met our co-hosts, I can reveal the results of last week's premiere episode. If you missed it, we drafted basketball teams made up of letters of the English alphabet. It was a lot of fun, and you should definitely check it out if you have not already. Anyway, without further ado, the winner of the alphabet draft was Brandy. Brandy was the winner of the alphabet draft. Apparently, the LMNOP strategy works even if you are missing the meat of that sandwich, because Brandy did take home the win on that draft. So congratulations, Brandy.
Obviously a genius. Thank you. This is actually news to me.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this.
Congratulations for winning the premiere draft. So that is a very, very honorable distinction. First ever episode, first ever results have come in favor of Brandy. So now let's dive into this episode's feature event. Today we will be drafting teams that fit the following category: 20th century song titles that would be the worst opening lines at a eulogy. Now, there are a couple of rules. The first one is that you are allowed to paint a picture that sets up your answer. You can choose the method in which the person died, their age, sex, whatever you'd like. However, rule number 2 is that the song title has to be the main answer. You can't use the song title to set up a different joke. It has to be the actual meat and potatoes of the answer. There will be 5 rounds in this draft, so we will each have a team of 5. And that's pretty much it. So let's get down to it. Let's go ahead and determine the pick order for tonight's draft. So we're going to do that by way of random number generator. Everybody has written down a number between 1 and 100, and I will go ahead and generate that first pick. So, Brandy, what did you write down?
86.
86. Joe? 13? All right. Remember, we're YouTube and podcast, so people listening on Apple have no idea what we just did.
Yeah, 13.
13.
Joe holds a 1 up with one hand and a 3 up with the other.
There you go.
I am 31.
I am 31, actually, funny enough.
Oh.
So we have 13, 31, and 86. Now, I will say that my guess is this is going to be an extremely important number generator because we discuss a little bit of our prep. We don't share any results or any answers or anything, any thought process, but we just kind of discuss the prep. And my guess is that we all probably have the same first overall pick. I think there is a LeBron James in this category. There is a definite number 1 pick, so we'll see if we were all, in that same line of thought. All right, so 13, 31, and 86. The number is 56. So that would be me again. 25 out.
No way.
Yeah, look.
Show it on the
here.
screen.
Yeah, show right there. I don't know. Will it focus? Right there. 56.
I can't see it, but I do see it now.
56. Yeah. All right.
How many times did you have to click that to get a number for you to win?
Just the once. Just the
it was
once.
Like 99.
Right.
To be fair, we went 1 to 100 and you picked 13. So that's kind of on you. I mean, you didn't give yourself a whole lot of outs there.
It's my lucky number. I picked 13 last week too.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
13 is also my lucky number.
So there you go. You're picking 13 and you're thinking I cheated. You're just a bad number guesser.
That's true.
All right. So I will pick first. I am going to change my strategy a little bit. Like I said, I think there is a first overall pick, but I think it's more important to have better options later because I think it's going to be harder to round out a quality team. And I don't think that first overall pick is just going to carry you through the whole thing. So I am actually going to take the second pick. I want the middle. I want to just get the same spot each time. So I'll take the second overall pick. So Brandy, you were the next closest. So you can choose either first or third pick.
I am going to choose third.
Okay.
For the fact that, yes.
Joe is visibly excited.
You get this one. Mainly for the fact that I know we discussed that we probably all have the same first pick, but I'm gonna feel real dumb if I'm like, well, here it is, and you guys are like, that wasn't it at all.
So you're hedging on your own dumbness, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like it. See, the thing is, if you get LeBron James, but you surround him with 4 water boys, then what are you gonna get done? Really, you got to have a solid team. So I wasn't really feeling waiting 4 more picks for my second pick. That's why I went second. But okay, so this worked out interesting. So we got Joe, then me, then Brandy. All right, so Joe, let's kick this off. Let's see if we all agreed on the same first pick.
Yeah, I definitely thought about a lot of different things, and this just seemed to constantly pop back up. I ran this through a couple other people for ideas, and kept coming back to this one. 5 simple words. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, there it is. Absolutely. Cannot go wrong with that one. That was also my first pick, and it seemed like from Brandy's reaction, it was hers as well. Yeah,
It actually wasn't.
It wasn't,
but it was up there.
Okay,
it was up there.
It's as long as it was in your top few, because I feel like that's got to be the strongest. The scouts and the analysts, we're heading into draft day, and they're all saying, look, I got another one bites the dust, number 1 on my board. And then everybody else, it's going to be kind of a, pick what suits your team. But that one slots in anywhere, really. So I like it. I think it's a very strong start to the draft. All right. So I do have to move down on my list, though, because I also had that number 1. I'm kind of hoping Brandy took the first overall pick and picked her other one so that I could have still gotten it at 2.
Yeah.
Almost worked out for me. I had a 50-50 chance at that working out for me, I guess. All right. So that actually also kind of changes the order I was going to pick things, because my number 2 pick, I don't actually want to be my number 1 pick because I think I can get it later. So I'm going to lead with this one. This is a song by a duo of people. In this occasion, sadly, my wife has passed away, and she's laying over there, open casket. And I walk up to the podium, and I just look over at her, and I say, "You're the reason our kids are so ugly." Yeah, I know it's brutal, but that's the point, right? I mean,
woo!
Is that a song title?
Oh yeah, it's by Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty. Yep, from the early 90s.
All right.
No.
Yeah, so listen, if you lead with that in a eulogy, I don't even think people will get angry, because I think they would be so taken aback. How do you respond to that?
Yeah,
just like that, with stunned silence.
You certainly would grab the attention of the crowd. Do you call it a crowd at a funeral? The mourners?
Yeah, the crowd.
It's still a crowd of people.
Sure.
Imagine everybody immediately starts clapping, and that's it. That's the whole funeral.
They just agree. They just, you know what? He's got a point. She is horrible looking.
You have terrible children.
And their kids are just awful.
There.
Jeez. Okay.
Good start.
So
give us yours, Brandy. I'm curious.
Yeah, you have the wraparound here.
Right. So In this scenario, probably how I would approach a eulogy, if I were the speaker at a funeral, because I don't know how to cope with anything. I use humor to cope.
I think we all
pretty
do.
much everything. So very ironically, my number one pick is "Staying Alive."
Okay.
By the Bee Gees.
Fair enough.
Jeez.
Yeah. Staying alive. I see lit. And then just going from there. As long as that doesn't fall flat. I mean, I think you can get through anything if you can get through that eulogy.
Yeah, if you can say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it because honestly, I came across that title, obviously, it's a well-known song, and I thought it would be funny in a sense, but I couldn't quite figure out how to make the joke, and I think you succeeded there in the way that you delivered that. So I think that is a good first pick. It's a strong first pick. But remember, you do have the wraparound, so you get two in a row here.
Right, yeah.
So let's see how you follow it up.
I don't entirely know why I did this, and I'm just going to stick with it.
It's a strong start.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go for it. I highly doubt anybody else has this on their list, but I chose Can I Kick It? From a Tribe Called Quest.
That's good. That's good.
I think you guys did way better than me at this. At least Brandy did. She's gonna win again.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't see that. I did not come across that title in my research.
Yeah, because if you kick the bucket, or
yeah. I would just kind of stare at the coffin in a little bit of like like almost like a little bit of like confusion. Be like, can I kick it? Like
Can I kick it?
Yeah,
yes, you can.
That's pretty good.
Yowza.
I like that one a lot. I think this is how a lot of our drafts, like I see this being how a lot of our drafts start, where we kind of all agree with each other as good picks, in the first couple rounds. And then I think really where the drafts are going to be made are in the last couple rounds when you start to kind of have to delve a little deeper.
Like pick.
Yeah. Because these are all, I mean, so far you can't really, I don't think, complain about any of these picks. I think they're all gonna absolutely deliver in their intended purpose, for this draft. So, all right. So I have my second. So now here is my number 2 that I thought suited round number 2 better.
It's my pick now.
No, you're first overall. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah,
three,
I was
2,
first.
1.
I'm thinking last week. Yeah, you're right.
Nope. Trying to cut the line.
Edit that out so I don't look stupid.
No edits.
Nope.
We're rolling straight through. That's why do you think I said Joe will lose? I already knew. The people have to understand the situation of this show. All right, so this one's easy. This one, so you just walk up, to the podium. And I stand there and I raise, a little fist. For those on the podcast that can't see, just kind of a vertical fist out in front of me. And I just give a little flick. And I kind of shoot off this little object out into the crowd. And I say, here's a quarter. Call someone who cares. And then I just walk out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's strong.
Who are you to the recently deceased in this scenario?
Does it matter? Like
I
don't know. Sure,
it kind of matters.
Sure, it could get progressively funnier to dark. Like you have like if it's a distant relative, it's kind in this it wouldn't be funny in real life, but in this scenario, if it's a distant relative, it's kind of funny. If it's a close relative, it's funnier. If it's a spouse, it's funnier. If it's a child, it's very dark. So there is a progression. But I feel like even if you went to a strange, like even if you did like a Wedding Crashers type situation, but a Funeral Crasher, like it would still stun the crowd. I think like even if they don't know who you are, they're gonna assume that the dead person knew who you were, and I think that's still gonna play quite well in any situation.
Yeah, I would definitely go Wedding Crashers Funeral Crasher scenario.
That
in this case.
That would definitely be an interesting situation. Going Funeral Crashers. I think they actually had a rumor that they were going to do that after Wedding Crash. That was going to be like the sequel to Wedding Crashers, and then it was kind of poorly received. I think by like they do like the test audiences. He did they did crash a funeral,
and then, at a funeral.
Yeah, and then that didn't go over well in the movie, it's like itself. But I think they wanted to expand on that with a sequel, and that kind of got shut down by the testing audiences and stuff. They were like, yeah, no, this isn't funny like weddings. Like that's a little too dark for the general America, I think. So now Joe,
for the Vince Vaughn fans.
Joe, both of the Vince Vaughn fans.
I got
all two of them. So Joe's been waiting patiently. So
I got my second and third pick here lined up. I'm going to give a little background for this one, and say that this person was an avid skydiver, and their parachute did not deploy properly. Jeff died doing what he loved, free falling.
No.
I had to go there. I wanted one that was set up by a very specific cause of death, and that's the one I went with. Again, a bit shocking.
Sure.
Maybe not. Definitely gonna be a closed casket funeral there.
I was just gonna say maybe not open casket.
That's a good one because I like multiple facets of it. I like that it is a title that you wouldn't think would be like a good title for this type of thing, but you gave it a scenario where it really plays. And then I also like that, like, if you think about it, you could use that in like a sentimental way that could actually be like a opening line. If you like, sure, it might not be well received by everyone, but like if he was an avid skydiver, they'd be like, you know what, maybe Jeff would have liked that. Maybe he would have found that sweet. Like, he did like free falling. He just liked it better when his chute opened.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Preferably.
That is the optimal outcome.
My third one takes a little knowledge of this song in order for it to really hit. In this scenario, you go up and you say something along the lines of, I'm really gonna miss Steve. You turned to the casket and you said, Steve, I hope you had the time of your life. And if you know this song, Green Day, you know that the subtitle is Good Riddance.
Yeah, that's what I figured was coming after that.
Yeah. A little jab at Steve.
Sure.
Sorry to see you're gone, but glad you're gone.
With the sneaky subtext. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it. That's a strong turnaround pick.
Yeah, I figured not everyone would. I wanted to make sure I got this one. I didn't know if anyone else was going to think about it, but I also didn't want to use an early pick on it because it is a little bit more obscure.
Sure.
So I figured third pick was the spot to take it. And, a little bit, not everyone's going to get this one. Not everyone's going to realize, like, it sounds very sentimental, kind of like, you said with Free Fall. And,
sure.
But if you know the song, if you know the subtext to it, you know what it really means.
What I like most about that is that if people are somehow made aware of what you're doing, which is using the Green Day song title, then there's just that one person in the back that thinks you don't know the subtitle and is just like, oof, like that was not the right choice, and you're up there just smirking like, yeah, it was the right choice. It was exactly what I was going for. I dig it. All right, strong start to this draft. So now I'm between two here, and I'm trying to decide which one is less likely to get picked. I think I should be able to get both. I don't know, beyond the first couple, I was looking at my list, and I don't think we're going to have a lot of overlap. Because I don't know about you guys, but I went a little more obscure. I kind of did some advanced Googling and found some, songs that might not have even been heard by the general public.
I did the opposite. Yeah. I tried to basically pick songs that just about everyone knows.
Sure. Yeah, that's
I ran through Spotify.
That works too.
I just hits of the 90s, hits of the 80s.
Sure. This is good. You know what? It's going to give people a decision to vote on because we all have different styles. It's not like we all went the same style and they just have to pick which list they recognize or, something like that. So I think that'll be good for the voting. All right. So number 3 here, third round pick. I walk up to the podium, and I'm standing right next to the casket. And this gets an open casket funeral for my grandmother, who lived a wonderful, wonderful life to the ripe old age of like 98 or something. Just a phenomenal life. But she was up there. She was older. And I just look down at the casket, and I take it in for a good couple seconds, and then I kind of jerk away back to the crowd, and I just go, nasty.
Oh no!
Jeez, man.
These are all
your own grandmother.
Listen, you got to do it. Look, I'm a competitor. I'm here to win. And Janet Jackson said it better than I could, so I decided to channel her energy, slightly less nipple, and deliver
only slightly
that title. So that I think. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I ask why you specifically chose your grandmother in this scenario?
Whether it's right or wrong, I feel like older women, like that old, I'm not saying like, just older women in general, but I'm saying when you get into like the 90s, I feel like older women tend to get more like wrinkly in like stuff around that age, which I don't know. I don't know if that's appropriate to say. I have no idea. I don't mean it in any type of negative fashion. I think if you live to 98 years old, you should be allowed to be as damn wrinkly as you want. Like, what do you care?
Absolutely.
But I feel like men and women tend to get to that age a little differently. It's a little bit that, and a little bit, no matter what the crowd, I'll say crowd again because it's fun. The crowd is going to not react positively to you saying nasty to an open casket. But I feel like if it was like I'm picturing like this little 4'9", like little Italian grandma, that everybody just loved. It was everybody's like little Nona,
Are you coming at me right now?
she makes the pasta, on Sundays. It's just this little sweet old lady. And I feel like that delivers the line just a little bit more impactfully.
My nanny is 4'8", by the way.
So I was a little off.
91 years old.
All right. Well, hopefully you don't use this as any ideas. That hopefully would not be recommended.
Don't accidentally invite Mike to your nanny.
Oh yeah, no, that would be a terrible idea. That would not be a good idea. No, I would be so respectful. She sounds like a delightful woman. Yes, definitely not nasty for sure.
No.
All right, Brandy, you have picks 3 and 4.
All right. So my phone keeps locking on me. My third pick, which I intended to be my second pick, but I couldn't find it on my list because I'd scrolled too far down like an idiot. I did not put them in order. My third pick, the title of this song is The Entire Eulogy.
Okay.
And that is it. And the song is called Finally. By CeCe Peniston.
Oh,
I like it.
You did there.
I like it.
And that's it. Mic drop and leave the entire funeral home.
That's strong. That is a strong. I can see that why that was supposed to be your second round pick, because that is a very strong third round pick. I am disappointed I did not come across that one.
You walk directly to your car, roll down the windows, peel out of the parking lot, blasting No Scrubs. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is
absolutely.
That is a terrific mental picture, I have to say. I'm just hoping it's not somebody in my family that is on the receiving end of that speech, if you want to call it that.
But the forefront of my mind is ex-wife, generally,
Oh, so you're
up.
going like less humor and more like, oh, they're gonna believe you. Like people are gonna believe you.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely. Like people didn't know if you were going to show up to the funeral or not because it's been a little while since you split up. You didn't become the ex-wife because of the death,
Now I'm kind of, hopefully I don't blow up your guys' spot if you found one, but in all my research, I didn't find a song called No More Alimony, and now I'm wishing I did because I feel like that would have worked really well in it's same kind of example as you. I feel like that would have played really well.
Yeah.
I'm hopefully I didn't, hopefully you guys didn't find that and I just blew up your spot, but now I'm a little disappointed. But I like it. All right, so you got your fourth pick now. Let's see if you can keep going as strong as you started.
Let me re-unlock my phone again for the 5th time. Should have put my lists on paper this time around.
Saving the trees.
So in this scenario, this funeral, this wonderful gentleman died. Very unfortunate circumstance. House burned down. He died in his sleep while the house was burning. Horrible, horrible circumstance. The group.
This is a comedy podcast.
I apologize. A group of people approaching the podium to give the eulogy, completely unrecognized by the family, and only saying the words, "We didn't start the fire."
I was wondering.
You were going there.
I was wondering with that setup. I was wondering where you're going, because I also found a song that involved fire, and I didn't know if that's where you were going. But I do like where you went.
That's all I have. That's all I have for that one. My brain completely shut off. I started thinking about this terrible, horrible scenario and picturing.
Yeah, you went dark.
Home, and
you went dark.
I was feeling very bad, and my brain was like, "Am I in a podcast right now? Am I okay?"
Are you having are some memories like coming back up that you buried?
Yeah,
like,
from my past life.
Right? Do you remember being like 4 years old and like looking out a window and seeing smoke, and until now you didn't remember why? You just uncovered these horrible memories.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, you know what? It started a little dark, but I think you got there in the end. I think you managed to arrive at the station right when you needed to.
At the station.
All right, fourth pick for me. Again, this is a tough one now because, like I said, I found one with fire, and it was one of my backup picks in case you guys took one of my picks. But now I love the situation you described, and now I think that plays really well. But because you did it first, I don't think it would be as good now. Like I don't think it would play as well with you having just done it. So I might just have to let you know at the end, because to be honest with you, I think when I tell you that fire title, you might be a little sad that you didn't use that for yours. So we'll see at the end there. No, I'm gonna get dark in a different way. I'm gonna go to a place where it's not necessarily dark like horror and tragedy. It's dark like, do we need to call the police? And that is, it could really be anybody, but it has to specifically not be a spouse. It would still work for a spouse, but it would be like more sad than funny and weird, because you'll hear it. But so I'm picturing maybe like an aunt, or just like a kind of a fringe relative. Not that your aunts are your fringe relatives, but that style. Not somebody in the immediate family. But again, it's got to be, a lot of my stuff plays off open casket. A lot of physical comedy. So just get up there, look over at the open casket, and just say, "Get your tongue out of your mouth, because I'm kissing you goodbye."
No.
Absolutely calling the police.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I might have to leave like quickly. Like I might have to wrap up that eulogy like the fastest a eulogy's ever been wrapped up.
Yeah.
But like, if that, like, I feel like a couple of mine were going for like that shocked silence, but if that one didn't get some like audible gasps, that would be shocking to me. Like that has to elicit some kind of verbal, visceral response from the audience. Just kind of like a
fist fights.
Fist fights. People would come up and start throwing punches at me for trying to tongue kiss the dead person.
The recently deceased. Yeah, probably. That would be my first response, honestly.
Hey, at least I went open casket and not cremation. So points for that. I feel like that's a little better. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Maybe worse. I'm actually not sure there.
Yeah, actually, as soon as I said it, like that sounded good in my head, and then as soon as I said it, I was like, you know what? That actually might be worse. Like,
I think it might be worse.
Ashes are it's carbon. It's just burn up carbon.
Sure.
As opposed to decaying flesh.
Also now a science podcast, so I can put us in a second category on Apple. We can sneak in there, and I don't know what people would think if they came into the show from a science category search. I'm kind of wondering how that would go over.
Got a bunch of psychopaths in here.
All right. So, Joe, we are back to you.
And I'm going to wrap up my 5 with my last 2 here. I guess order doesn't truly matter, but we're going to do what you would have been next if I was in a different position. You get up there, you're doing a eulogy for your best friend. You've got this, incredible long history, love-hate relationship, lots of emotion. You get up there and Betty lived a full and noble life. And she's where she needs to be now. On the highway to hell.
Yes, I knew that wasn't the title, but I couldn't help but giggle a little because we've been friends for a while. We're very, in sync. And I honestly thought that's where you were going when you said she's where she needs to be now.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured that's where you're going.
Betty had a mean streak, that's for sure.
Betty had a mean streak. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Obviously, you never really say. You always say, "Oh, great grandma's in heaven now." You never hear someone be like, "That son of a bitch went to hell."
Great grandma's in heaven, but Betty's in hell.
I feel like at all the good eulogies you hear that though. Like normally, if somebody elicits the response upon death from other people to say they're going to hell, I feel like a lot of the time it's just because they lived like a fun life. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, they partied or they did drugs or like whatever. And I'm not advocating drugs, but like, I feel like it's normally something that's like not actually that big of a deal. You know what I mean? It's never like, oh, he murdered 6 people and I'm just going to casually bring that up at his eulogy. That's never really the case.
Well, Mike, speaking of murder,
did I lead in for you?
You did. This is perfect. Great segue. Excellent.
That's why I'm the host.
Yes. Yeah, of course. My last pick is going to involve a situation where our deceased has been murdered, and it is currently an unsolved situation under investigation. Police are looking into a lot of people. The eulogy is being given by a close friend who was in fact questioned by police. Close friend is up there. None of us have an answer to why this happened. Why Barry is being buried today. The only thing that I want to say about it is it wasn't me. We got some Shaggy up in here.
Shaggy.
A claim of innocence from Shaggy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you had me gripped there.
Himself at the funeral?
Shaggy himself is not at the funeral. This person is channeling his inner Shaggy. Clearly lying.
Quick side note on that. I feel like whenever Shaggy goes to a funeral, if he's going to speak, he has to say it wasn't me. Like, no matter what the cause of death was.
It's in his contract.
Right? Like, you have to say that if you're Shaggy.
Absolutely.
Does anyone know if you can get Shaggy on Cameo?
Yeah, we might have to. We might have to get him on next episode and ask him if he's been to any funerals.
I'll pay him.
I'll pay him.
See what's going on with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have to say, this is the first one. Now, I don't think it's a bad pick by any means, but this is the first one where you had me gripped. You were reeling me in, with the whole setup, and I was all about it. I was on the edge of my feet, just wait, or the edge of my seat, just waiting, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I felt like that setup was real good, but the pick itself left a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, I actually was kind of looking around for another song that would do a better job, would just essentially be funnier than just a plain "it wasn't me" statement. The comedy here comes more from just the fact that song is funny.
Sure.
Like that, I don't know about you, but like whenever that song comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Bob.
It's a jam.
It's like it's kind of funny. Yeah, you can't understand half the words in it. At least I can. But it's a piece of '90s history.
Sure.
That being said, yeah, I did look around for other songs, and I struck out. There certainly are better ones. Leave them in the comments below if you can think about one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got unlucky that "Oops, I Did It Again" was a 2000 song, because I feel like that would have been your go-to there.
There were so many songs that I thought about and I looked up, and they came out in 2000 or 2001.
Oof,
like
yeah.
barely outside of the 20th century.
Sure.
You know, a lot of that pop music, Backstreet Boys and stuff like that, and some, you know, late 90s rock bands that bled into the 2000s. But you know,
all like right, I Mike, said, I like it. I still like it. All right, so I will go with my final pick here. So this is a little tough because I have two options I actually like more, but they kind of tread a little bit on territory that you guys have already covered. So I feel like they lose a little bit of luster because I would kind of set them up the same way. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper here. And, you know, we'll say that it's, you know, a middle-aged type person, you know, where they were probably still in good health. And they kind of died in a way where, like, people were kind of wondering, like, it wasn't foul circumstances. Like, you know, there's no question of murder or anything, but they were like, how did this 43-year-old person die? Like, they're too young for a heart attack, you know, stuff like that. So it's just a little bit of unclarity, you know, around the situation. And you just walk up and you just say, remember, people, don't eat the yellow snow.
Oh.
Yeah. You just got, you know, it's a public health warning. You know, it's a public safety announcement. You know,
we got to keep the people aware. Yes.
Yeah. You don't want more funerals that could be avoided. You know, by people who made the incorrect decision to eat that tasty looking yellow snow. That is by Frank Zappa, if anybody was curious, and I note that because his name came up actually a bunch for me. He was I think fairly famous, you know, I don't know how famous because this is back in, I believe, like the 60s and 70s, but he was fairly famous for having like ridiculous song titles. Like a lot of his song titles are just crazy.
Yeah, I just want to note that this dude has two children named Dweezil and Moon Unit. So, like,
Frank Zappa does?
Yes, his children are Dweezil and Moon Unit Zappa.
Did you know that off the top of your head?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's fantastic. I'm glad I used that one then, because that definitely added something to my.
I've listened to quite a bit of Frank Zappa in my lifetime.
Okay, so you know all about his wacky song titles.
His wacky everything.
Sure, yeah, sounds like it.
That statement alone has enriched my life in a way that I didn't know was possible.
It looked like it shook you. It looked like it had you a little shook.
For the rest of my life, going to be thinking of names for my children that I might potentially have that can compete with Frank Zappa's children.
Can you run them by me again?
And maybe one day send them to their own demise.
Dweezil and Moon Unit are the names.
Moon Unit is kind of like it's very hippie, like very but I get it. Like, I'm not saying I would name my kid it, but I get it because it's like a very hippie thing. Dweezil to me just doesn't sound good. Like, at least Moon Unit, it's like a crazy name that's like a unique thing, but like Dweezil just sounds like Weasel.
It sounds like maybe like a goblin's name from Lord of the Rings. Like, go talk to Dweezil over there, and he's like,
Dweezil is entirely an NPC.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not how I want to think of my kid. So I think I'm probably gonna have to disagree with his life choices. Like Moon Unit, I can get on board with. Dweezil, I think I would be at the courthouse on my 18th birthday.
We are off on a tangent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull us back in right now and send it over to Brandy.
All right, Brandy, finish us up. Last pick of the draft.
All right, last pick of the draft. We are at the funeral of Becky.
Lots of Beckys today.
Oh no!
Did we have a Becky already?
I had a Betty.
Oh, Betty. You had a Betty. Okay.
I was gonna say, because that would have stuck in my brain for this scenario. We're at Becky's funeral. Becky passed a little young. She joined the 27 Club. Not in the way that people usually do, but there's a movie or a TV show that's in my brain, and I can't entirely think of what it was, but there's a person in that movie who can't stop dancing, and they dance so hard that they literally die. It might have been a YouTube video that was a joke. So the song I am choosing for this eulogy is gonna be "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," because that's all Becky was trying to do.
Sure.
He was just trying to have fun.
That fits,
and it led to her end.
Yeah, that kind of fits with the one Joe did before, where it is funny, but it also kind of could be used. as like an actual, like a respectful, like, listen, she lives a good life. Girls just want to have fun,
Girls just wanted to have fun.
When you said Becky, I thought you were going with somehow tying in Baby's Got Back.
Oh, that would have been.
That's what I thought.
If I could have thought of a way to do that, I absolutely would have.
That would have played as well, I think. I like that one. Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some good ones that, with enough research, didn't make the cut, but definitely could have been in the conversation. So my favorite now, because of the way that you set it up, I couldn't really think of a way to set it up. You set it up, Brandy, much better than I thought I could have, is why I didn't end up using it. But now I almost wish, even though I want to win, I wish you would have found this, because I think it would have been the perfect ending to yours. With the fires and how, it kind of spread and they didn't know you could be arson. That is a song title by the Dead Milkmen, which is called "If You Love Someone, Set Them on Fire."
I didn't know you were going that.
Yeah, that would have been.
And I think that would have been, I think it would have pushed you a little bit over the edge there of really driving that one home.
If I ran into it, that would have been one.
I'm a big Dead Milkman fan. I'm surprised I didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, no, I did try to stick with more mainstream songs, and Dead Milkman, other than Punk Rock Girl, that's kind of like the only song people know by them.
But, I just kind of pretty much searched title specific. It sounded like you guys went more like hits of the 90s, hits of the 80s, that type of thing. I went a little more deep dive on like the funny, Googling funny song titles and, wacky song titles, stuff like that. But I think we arrived at a pretty good draft. I think we went in 3 kind of separate directions, which is really going to be interesting to see the voting. I'm definitely excited for that. We're going to have to dethrone Brandy, although I will say it's a good title defense.
Yeah, she's got a strong team.
Yeah, it's a good title defense. I will post the teams in the poll so that you can see them all laid out. I am not going to go back over them again because they're long, and you guys, heard all the explanations, the song titles. So I will lay them out in the poll so you can see them. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a blast. We hope we made you laugh. We hope we made Joe cry a little bit. That's what we're here for. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or just any of the podcast apps and you like the show, the best thing you could do for us is give us a 5-star rating. You could say whatever you want in the text, in the comment of the rating. You could talk
Mike
about
sucks.
You could say Mike sucks. That's fine. 5 stars with Mike sucks. Great. I'm all about it. You could talk about the weather. You could tell us your favorite type of pie. Doesn't really matter. 5-star rating really helps with the algorithm. Helps us get in front of more listeners. Will allow us to do more fun stuff in the future. Would be a really big help. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff that you guys know how to do at this point. But thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Joe and Brandy, again for helping me out with this one. And we will see you guys next week.